Welcome to Zashin Zone, where I talk and hopefully you enjoy the show. Let's begin.
Okay. Last week, there was a story about Trump falling back on the idea of prosecuting Hillary. Yesterday, there was an article that reversed that some. I'd already planned on doing the one about going back on, so that's why this was getting made. Found the other one today. Let's get started.
That's right. Here we are. As we all remember, President-elect Trump made prosecuting Hillary Clinton one of the centerpieces of his campaign, as did his supporters.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Gotta be honest, I was sort of happy when he said that. Served 6 years in the service from 83 to 89, and my time in the service told me you do not mishandle classified material, period. It is a crime. You go to jail. End of subject.
Lock her up. That's right. Yes, that's right. Lock her up.
Oh, boy. Well, today Donald Trump met with the New York Times and seemed to dial that back a bit, reportedly saying, quote, "It's just not something that I feel very strongly about." Did you hear the sigh of relief coming from the Clinton compound? Whew! Yeah. So now we must ask, is Trump just doing what's best for him politically and for the nation, or is he going back on a very important promise? Here to weigh in, it's National Review Editor-in-Chief Rich Lowry. Rich, welcome back.
Hi there.
So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's do a cost-benefit analysis.
Yeah.
What is the benefit of seeking an indictment for Hillary Clinton, or at least appointing a special prosecutor to further investigate?
Well, the benefit would have been that this investigation was kind of corrupted, or at least tainted all along, so you'd have someone independent taking a fresh look at it. I thought that was always very unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
Because if Trump won, he'd be saying, look, I'm going to spend political capital and time pursuing my vanquished rival who just paid an enormous political price because of this email setup and related scandals.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go after her. And it just...
Okay. She hasn't paid shit for a price. Yes, emotionally she suffered some. I don't care. When you mishandle classified material in the service, and she is in the ultimate service of our country up there as Secretary of State, you get prosecuted. You go to jail. It's not about she was Secretary of State, so she's above the law. It's about she is a member, a citizen of this country, and she has to obey the laws just like everybody else. Trump has 90% of the people that where this was important. It was important because they want to stop the idea that there's two sets of laws. So this guy misses the point. He's from the National Review. Got to remember, National Review had a special magazine just for Trump. 30 people all saying that Trump was so terrible for the Republican nomination. Well, they were wrong then, and this guy's wrong now.
Seemed unlikely. Any new president, he wants to put points on the board. He wants to move forward, and that's what he's doing here.
Do you see that this will be effective, and is it going to upset the base of voters who were the kind of people who showed up at rallies very enthusiastically and chanted things like lock her up because they want to see justice? They know that she's done something wrong. Does healing the nation come at a price? And which one is more costly?
I think Trump's base is so cemented to him. It is not moving off of him for any reason anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I think they'll get over this, and Trump will just make the case, look, I want to actually do the things I promised substantively that would help the country, and that's what he'll go about doing.
What else do you think he's going to shift on that he has also made an important part of the campaign?
Well, there's not going to be a wall. At least there's not going to be a wall along all the border, and it may end up being not very much of a wall at all.
Yeah.
Because actually, when you look at immigration enforcement, the border is important, but it's not the be-all, end-all, and actually the point of employment is much more important. And there's just a number of other things where I think the best gloss on Trump was from the tech guru Peter Thiel, who said his voters take him seriously, but not literally. Yeah.
Last question. We only have 10 seconds. Will conservatives and libertarians work together to whisper in the president-elect's ear to boost that beautiful Constitution?
I hope so. I think there's a lot of whispering going on, and a lot of the early indications here are encouraging. He's reaching out to all elements of the party. Basically, if you subtract some of the tweets, at least in his public statements, it's striking a unifying tone, and all that's encouraging.
All right. Rich Lowry, thanks very much for stopping by. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, guy made a point there. As a Trump supporter, I'm not going to go running from Trump. But I believe if he ignores this issue with Hillary, it's just bad. That's all there is to say about it. He needs to hold the system to account and let the system work. And that's what I found out from the next video we're about to watch. He mentioned the wall just then. Hey, the wall is about securing the border. Whether that's done with technology, a physical wall. We knew there wasn't going to be a physical wall on the border where Texas is at and the Rio Grande is at, because there's a treaty where you can't put permanent structures on the floodplain because the Rio Grande floods. I mean, you can't screw with Mother Nature too much. There are limits. So, yeah. As a Trump supporter, I'm going to stick with Trump. But I felt he was wrong on backing off on Hillary. And the next video really wrapped it up in a nutshell, and I was happy to see it come out. So let's play.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much, and to your family as well. Ding, ding, ding. Yummy.
Hillary Clinton resurfacing for Thanksgiving, all smiles at the supermarket, but her troubles appear to be far from over. If Republicans in Congress get their way. California Congressman Darrell Issa is one of them. He joins us live right now. Good morning and happy Thanksgiving, sir.
Good morning, Ed, and hopefully your turkey day was the kind we like to have at home with friends.
It was, and family, and it's good. I hope you had the same. And I wonder, though, President-elect Donald Trump, fresh off his victory, is now saying, wait a second, everybody calm down. He said, I don't want to hurt the Clintons anymore. She already lost. The FBI has already determined that laws were not broken, or at least that it would not be prosecuted by most U.S. attorneys around the country. Let's move on. Why don't you want to move on?
Well, I think it's important that the president do essentially what he does, which is get out of the business of prosecuting. But at the same time, he's appointed or proposed appointing an attorney general who has a long record of doing his job. And so when we look at Jeff Sessions in concert with FBI and other organizations, they need to do their job. And I think that's where the balance with this next president's going to come, is in reestablishing the independence of the Department of Justice. If he doesn't do it, Congress will certainly push for that. But I think you're going to find a president who says, let them do their job, stays out of it, and certainly doesn't, you know, he hasn't said she's innocent. That's a decision that needs to be made by the professionals.
So it's possible that the president-elect, by saying, I don't necessarily want to prosecute her, I don't necessarily want to hurt her, but if, to your point, Jeff Sessions has been nominated, if he is confirmed as Attorney General and finds laws were broken, nothing the president-elect has said so far has closed the door to a prosecution.
Exactly.
And right there, Hillary Clinton just had her oh shit moment. Jeff Sessions has no problem with taking on authority. When the KKK was still powerful in Alabama, Jeff Sessions took it on. He put people in jail. He gave life sentences for murder. He took them on and busted them financially to where they are so broke they still have not recovered here in Alabama. The KKK is a broke group. They have no real power anymore. And in Alabama, we can thank that to people like Jeff Sessions, who is now going to be the Attorney General. And when he goes after somebody with the evidence, and he is sure he's right, it will be prosecuted. If the evidence is really not there, Jeff Sessions will tell us that it really wasn't there. But the problem with Comey's idea was intent. Mishandling classified information cares nothing about intent. You either handled it right or you handled it wrong. If you handled it wrong, it has to be assessed for how much damage it caused, and then you go to prison. It's not a if or, it is what you get. Hillary, at this moment in her life, should honestly be scared of prison. If Obama does not pardon her, it just became a possible reality for her.
And unlike President Obama, who said there isn't a smidgen of evidence and who constantly was trying to essentially jury tamper, it's important that this president stay out of it. He will have, President-elect Trump will have the right to pardon her, but pardoning is separate from the question of whether or not she and many others committed crimes, including obviously the Clinton Foundation selling out America's interest while she was Secretary of State.
I want to get to the broader issue of draining the swamp, but real quick to button this up, you mentioned the Clinton Foundation. Where do you think a possible prosecution could be if Congress continues to pursue this? Clinton Foundation, one possible avenue, but I worded it carefully a moment ago when I talked about FBI Director James Comey, because going back to July, as you know better than anyone, he never said laws were not broken. He suggested they may have been, but he just didn't leave.
Actually, yes, he implied they may have been broken, and he also said that for anyone other than her, that someone would have been prosecuted over it. He pointed out that it was because she was Hillary Clinton that she got the pass. Well, bullshit. Nobody gets a pass based on their position, or a pass based on their position. They get a pass by not committing the crime.
Think it would be prosecutable?
Well, I think that's exactly right. He said he didn't have the evidence to prosecute. He said no prosecutor would. If he continues to do his job and if he finds the evidence necessary, this new Department of Justice is not going to have a bias from the top that the last one did. Remember, the last administration was sent an order by Congress to the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. to prosecute or to bring before a grand jury Lois Lerner, and they simply refused to do it. It's that kind of interference that the American people are tired of.
Congressman Darrell Issa, former chairman of the House Government Reform Committee, you know better than anyone in terms of draining the swamp. Changing Washington is going to be a long battle. We'll see how all that turns out. We appreciate you joining us live.
We can sure do it, though.
Good to see you.
Okay, you just heard it from him. It's going to be a long battle trying to drain the swamp. But with Hillary Clinton and the things we have heard about the Clinton Foundation with Haiti, the WikiLeaks, the email scandal, I believe we should see our first monarchy go down with Bill and Hillary. And then they should look around. I'm sure there are others that have committed similar if not more, egregious crimes. Well, I'm not going to say more egregious, but similar crimes. And then draining the swamp, it's time for term limits. I'm really happy that Alabama's had Richard Shelby and Jeff Sessions for 20 and 30 years, but the flip side is, if you don't get new blood in, you don't get new ideas, and people get too comfortable. Being a congressman, a senator, even a president was never thought to be a job where you would be comfortable at it. It was meant to be, you would leave your regular work to go do that for a short period of time and then have to go back to your regular work because you couldn't afford to live off the government. Nobody was supposed to live off the government. And now politicians, that's all they do. And this is Zashin of Zashin Zone. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope I've made my points clear. And if you like, favorite, subscribe. I appreciate any of it. Have a good day.